Welcome back, everyone. Good afternoon, lunch hour, I guess. I'm Steve.
And I am Scott.
And together we're Backyard Musings, broadcasting live, Apple Valley, California.
Apple Valley, yeah.
What
Science and Technology channel.
Yeah, science and technology.
Yeah.
We got some weird ones. Weird one today, and we got a weird one for tomorrow morning. So we're the messenger, right? So just don't shoot us, okay? These guys, they publish their articles. They're scholarly, so I'm just telling you, don't shoot the messenger, all right?
Yeah. Some of this stuff is kind of out there, but it's interesting.
All right.
You know?
A team of Swedish researchers has created a flexible, stretchable battery that can be shaped like toothpaste and embedded in a wide variety of wearable tech and medical devices. Unlike conventional bulky batteries, this one uses liquid electrodes made from sustainable materials like lignin, a paper industry byproduct. So it's a byproduct, that's good. And conductive plastics. Maybe we could use the microplastics in our body to help be
drinking all
conductive.
the water?
Yeah, from conductive. It maintains performance even when stretched to double its strength and can be recharged hundreds of times. With major design and environmental advantages, the innovation could revolutionize how we power the billions of smart gadgets expected in the coming decade. Would you like to know more?
Charging yourself several hundred times. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Researchers at Linköping University have developed a new kind of battery that can be molded into virtually any shape thanks to its fluid-based electrodes. This soft, flexible design opens the door to integrating batteries into future technologies in entirely new ways. The findings are published today, would be April 11th, so a couple of days ago, in Science Advances. Quote, the texture is a bit like toothpaste. The material can, for instance, be used in a 3D printer to shape the battery as you please.
Stick it up in the little cavity. Yeah.
Okay. This opens up for a new type of technology, says Amen Ramanujan. Ramanujan?
Yeah, sounds like Afghani.
Yeah. Assistant professor at the Linköping University.
Right. In the next 10 years, over 1 trillion devices are expected to be connected to the internet. That's a lot, especially with quantum computing now. That's a different internet.
Yeah.
Alongside familiar gadgets like smartphones, smartwatches, and laptops, this explosion of connectivity will include wearable medical devices such as insulin pumps, pacemakers. We talked about the little grain of rice.
Yep.
Can I share my story with that?
And embedding that in your body, right?
Yeah. So I gave up with all this pollen, and I went to the urgent care to get a shot of steroids in my bottom.
And you ham.
Yeah. And the doctor, he was saying, you sound familiar. And I said, well, we got a YouTube channel, Science and Technology. Oh, maybe that's it. And I said, yeah, we just reported on the pacemaker the size of a grain of rice. Didn't even phase him. He didn't even oh, wow, really? He just matter-of-factly
blew
me off like he didn't believe it.
Yeah, isn't that how doctors are? They just, so many of them are just have their noses so high up in the sky and so up the certain cavities of other people. They don't care.
Yeah.
You're just a minion, a peon.
You're a number, man. Move it. Keep moving.
Nothing. Show me your bona fides and we'll talk. Otherwise, pay your bill and move on. Next.
Get out of here, you alley cat. That's what I say to Bob.
Yeah. We need some good doctors with some bedside manner, right? We don't have a whole lot of those anymore. But at least he could have been at least interested, right?
Right. But, it's medical,
Yeah.
Size of rice, grain of rice.
Yeah.
He could have said something like, wow, I wonder how that gets powered. I wonder how it gets attached.
Or I've heard of that. I've actually studied that.
Well, I could understand that he hasn't heard of it. I could understand that because we're reporting cutting edge right as it happens.
Yeah.
So I can understand how he hadn't heard of it.
But would he admit to that? Would he lower himself to admitting to a
No, I'm just a Joe. I'm just a number.
Yeah.
I'm just a peon.
You're just a pay at the door, man.
That's right, man.
Get in, get your shot.
Give me your $20.
Right.
Get out of here.
It's too bad.
All right, so
enough picking on doctors today.
Insulin pumps, pacemakers, almost said peacemakers, hearing aids, and health monitors. Looking further ahead, it may also extend to soft robotics, electronic textiles, and nerve-connected implants. To power this vast array of devices, many of which will be worn or embedded in the body, batteries need to be smaller, softer, and more adaptable. That's a true statement.
Okay. Quote. This is a quote. Batteries are the largest component of all electronics. Today, they are solid and quite bulky. But with a soft and conformable battery, there are no design limitations. It can be integrated into electronics in a completely different way and adapted to the user, says Aman Ramanujan. Together with his colleagues at the Laboratory of Organic Electronics, LOE, he has developed a battery that is soft and malleable. The key has been a new approach, converting electrodes from a solid to a liquid form.
I think we've been focused on these large batteries for EVs, how much capacity can we get? We haven't focused on the little tiny, for the hearing aids and the pacemakers and stuff, laptops, cell phones.
Yeah,
all right.
Fascinating.
Previous attempts to manufacture soft and stretchable batteries have been based on different types of mechanical functions, such as rubbery composite materials that can be stretched out or connections that slide on each other. But this does not deal with the core of the problem. A large battery has higher capacity, but having more active materials means thicker electrodes and thus higher rigidity. Quote, here we've solved that problem, and we're the first to show that capacity is independent of rigidity, says Ayman Ramanujan.
You think that's Ayman? Is that
I'm
probably
Ayman,
what it is?
Ayman.
Ayman? Okay.
Oh.
Fluid electrodes have been tested in the past, but without any great success. At that time, liquid metals such as gallium were used, but then the material can only function as an anode and has the risk of being solidified during charging and discharging, losing its fluid nature. In addition, many of the stretchable batteries previously made have used rare materials that have a major environmental impact when mined and processed.
Yeah, got to dig it out of the earth.
I wonder what that would be.
Vanadium?
Lead?
Lead, yeah. I wouldn't want lead embedded in me. Nope, no, I don't want to be like
lead
the
embedded
emperors.
in me a few times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you ever been stuck with a pencil?
Oh,
you
yeah.
You didn't grow up in elementary school and not get stuck by somebody with a pencil.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, I know some people have stuck themselves with a pencil just to get out of class. You're just
tricking me, man. You're tricking me.
No, I'm telling you.
All right, the researchers at Liu campus, that's that one,
LOE,
yeah. Norrköping, that's the city, I guess, have instead based their soft battery on conductive plastics, conjugated polymers, and lignin, a byproduct from paper production. The battery can be recharged and discharged over 500 times and still maintain its performance. Wow. It can also be stretched to double the length and still work just as well.
I need one of those on my iPhone.
That's what I'm saying.
Quote, since the materials in the battery are conjugated polymers and lignin, the raw materials are abundant. By repurposing a byproduct like lignin into a high value commodity such as a battery material, we contribute to a more circular model. So it's a sustainable alternative, says Mohsen Mohammadi.
Yeah, looks like that to me.
Thanks. Postdoctoral fellow at LOE and one of the lead authors behind the article published in Science Advances.
The next step is to try to increase the electrical voltage in the battery. According to Ayman Ramanujan, there are currently some limitations that they need to overcome. Quote, the battery isn't perfect. We have shown that the concept works, but the performance needs to be improved. That's obvious and everything. The voltage is currently 0.9 volts. So now we'll look at using other chemical compounds to increase the voltage. One option that we are exploring is the use of zinc or manganese, two metals that are common in the Earth's crust, says Ayman Ramanujan.
Okay.
Interesting, yeah?
So flexible, moldable batteries.
Yeah, perfect for earplugs or ear devices.
Almost anything, right? I mean, you could stick them, they could go anywhere and have instead of have a large rectangular or square cavity.
Put your phone right there and it recharges. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty cool.
You have it on your arm, carry it with.
Yeah.
Or in your pocket. Have it in there in the pocket.
Or in your phone. I mean, your watch or whatever they call it, right? Little
Yeah.
tiny. Yeah.
It sounded
cool.
weird, but it's interesting.
We'll keep up on it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Thanks, folks.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.